The Rigveda hymn 10.20, Agne, 10 verses. Send unto us a good and happy mind. I worship Agne, youthfulest of gods, resistless, friend of laws, under whose guard and heavenly light the spotted seek the mother's breast, whom with their mouth they magnify, bannered with flame, and homed in light. He glitters with his row of teeth, kind furtherer of men, he comes, when he hath reached the ends of heaven, sage giving splendor to the clouds, to taste man's offerings. He, the strong, hath risen erect at sacrifice, fixing his dwelling, he proceeds. Here our oblation, worship, rest. Rapidly comes his furtherance, to sword-armed Agne come the gods. With service for chiefs, bliss, I seek the Lord of sacrifice, Agne. They call the living son of cloud. Blessed evermore be all the men who come from us, who magnify Agne with sacrificial gifts. The path he treads is black and white and red, and striped and brown, crimson and glorious. His sire begat him bright with hues of gold. Thus, with his thoughts, O son of strength, O Agne hath the Mada, accordant with the immortals, offered thee hymns, soliciting thy favor. Thou hast brought all food, strength, a prosperous dwelling. Now, why would some colors be included and other colors not be included? Hymn 10.21, Agne, 8 verses. With offerings of our own, we choose thee, Agne, as invoking priest, for sacrifice with trimmed grass at your glad carouse, piercing and brightly shining. Thou art waxing great, the wealthy ones adorn thee, they who bring us horses as their gift, the sprinkling ladle, Agne, at your glad carouse, and glowing offering taste thee. Thou art waxing great, the holy statutes rest by thee, as 'twere with ladles that o'erflow, black and white gleaming colors, at your glad carouse. All glories thou assumest, thou art waxing great, O Agne. What thou deemest wealth, victorious and immortal one, bring thou to give us vigor. At your glad carouse, splendid at sacrifices, thou art waxing great, skilled in all lore is Agne, he whom erst a Tharvan brought to life. He was Vivasvat's envoy. At your glad carouse, the well-loved friend of Yama, thou art waxing great. At sacrifices they adore thee, Agne. When the rite proceeds, all fair and lovely treasures, at your glad carouse, thou gavest him who offers, thou art waxing great. Men Agne hath established thee as welcome priest at holy rites, thee whose face shines with butter. At your glad carouse, bright with eyes most observant, thou art waxing great, bright and aloft. Thou spreadest thee, O Agne, with thy brilliant flame. A bull art thou when bellowing. At your glad carouse, thou dost impregnate the sisters. Thou art waxing great. And see, this gladness starts from somewhere we saw previously. You start with a happy mind, not a happy body. A lot of people are going the opposite, that you have to fulfill everything the body seems driven towards in order to have a pleased mind. Hymn 10.22, Indra. 15 verses. Where is famed Indra heard of? With what folk is he renowned today as Mitra is, who in the home of Rishes and in secret is extolled with song? Even here is Indra famed, and among us this day the glorious thunderer is praised. He who like Mitra, mid the folk, hath won complete and full renown. He who is sovereign lord of great and perfect strength, exerter of heroic might, who bears the fearless thunder as a father bears his darling son, harnessing to thy car as God two blustering steeds of the wind god. O thunderer, that speed along the shining path, thou making ways art glorified, even to these dark steeds of wind, thou of thyself hast come to ride, of which no driver may be found, none, be he god or mortal man. When ye approach men, ask you, thee and Usana, why come ye to our dwelling place? Why are ye come to mortal man? from distant realms of earth and heaven. O Indra, thou shalt speak us fair. Our holy prayer is offered up. We pray to thee for help, as thou didst strike the monster Sushna dead. Around us is the Dasu, rightless, void of sense, inhuman, keeping alien laws. Baffle thou, slayer of the foe, the weapon which this Dasa wields. Hero with heroes, thou art ours. Yea, strong are they whom thou dost help. In many a place are thy full gifts, and men, like vassals, sing thy praise. Urge thou these heroes on to slay the enemy, brave thunderer, in the fight with swords. Even when hid among the tribes of sages numerous as stars, swift come those gifts of thine, whose hand is prompt to rend and burn, O hero thunder-armed, as thou with thy companions didst destroy the whole of Sushna's brood. Let not thy excellent assistance come to us, O hero Indra, profitless. May we enjoy the bliss of these, thy favors, thunderer. May those soft impulses of thine, O Indra, be fruitful and innocent to us. May we know these, whose treasures are like those of Milchkine, thunderer, that earth, through power of knowing things, that may be known, handless and footless, yet might thrive. Thou slewest, turning to the right, Sushna for every living man. Drink, drink the Soma. Hero Indra, be not withheld, as thou art good. O treasure giver, preserve the singers and our liberal princes, and make us wealthy with abundant riches. And, liberal as in giving, not as in being free with what religious and family values you decide to uphold. You know what I mean, letting some of them go. And typically we would say, well, foreign instead of alien, angel instead of gods, and continuing this theme of happiness. Well, sometimes the softer or the weaker impulses are the ones that we should follow. Hymn 10.23, Indra. 7 verses. Indra, whose right hand wields the bolt, we worship, driver of bay steeds, seeking sundered courses, shaking his beard with might. He hath arisen, casting his weapons forth and dealing bounties. The treasure which his bay steeds found at sacrifice, his wealth made opulent, Indra, slayer of the foe. Virbukshan Vaja, he is Lord of Might. The Dasa's very name I utterly destroy. When with the princes, Mangavan famed of old, comes nigh the thunderbolt of gold, and the controller's car, which his 2 tawny coursers draw, then Indra is the sovereign lord of power, whose glory spreads afar. With him too is this rain of his, that comes like herds. Indra throws drops of moisture on his yellow beard. When the sweet juice is shed, he seeks the pleasant place, and stirs the worshipper as wind disturbs the wood. We laud and praise his several deeds of valor, who, father-like, with power hath made us stronger. Who with his voice slew many thousand wicked ones, who spake in varied manners, with contemptuous cries. Indra, the Samhitas have borne for thee a law, copious, unparalleled, for thee most bountiful. We know the good we gain from him, the mighty one, when we attract him as a herdsman calls the kine. Ne'er may this bond of friendship be dissevered, the Rishi, the Samhitas, and thine, O Indra. We know thou carest for us as a brother with us, O God, be thine auspicious friendship. And some people talk about the symbolism of certain forms. Well, sometimes it's not so much the symbolism as we don't fully, understand it in these physical terms, like the Baphomet. Well, first of all, it's female when you look further back than the Golden Dawn. Well, did Eliphas Levi come up with that before the Golden Dawn? Anyways, but it's kind of like it has a goat head, kind of like it has bat wings and stuff like that, but not quite. but it is a fair enough of a way to describe it. Hymn 10.24, Indra Asvins. 6 verses. O Indra, drinker of the Soma, pressed out in the mortar, full of sweets, send down to us great riches at your glad carouse, and thousands, O most healthy, thou art waxing great. To thee with sacrifices, with oblations, and with lauds we come. Lord of all strength and power, grant at your glad carouse the best choice worthy treasure. Thou art waxing great, thou who art Lord of precious boons, in cider even of the churl. Guardian of singers, Indra, at your glad carouse, save us from woe and hatred. Thou art waxing great, strong, lords of magic power, ye twain churn the united worlds apart, when ye implored by Vimada, Asatyas, forced apart the pair. When the united pair were rent asunder, all the gods complained. The gods to the Nasatyas cried, bring these together once again. Sweet be my going forth, and rich in sweets be my approach to home. So through your deity both gods enrich us with all pleasantness. And what we nurture in others shall be the way for us to be glad as well. Hymn 10.25, Soma, 11 verses. Send us a good and happy mind, send energy and mental power. Then at your glad carouse, let men joy in thy love, sweet juice as kine and pasture. Thou art waxing great in all thy forms, O Soma, rest thy powers that influence the heart. So also these my longings, at your glad carouse, spread themselves in seeking riches. Thou art waxing great. Even if, O Soma, I neglect thy laws through my simplicity, and gracious at your glad carouse, as sire to son, preserve us even from slaughter. Thou art waxing great. Our songs in concert go to thee as streams of water to the wells. Soma, that we may live, grant at your glad carouse full powers of mind like beakers. Thou art waxing great, O Soma, through thy might, who art skillful and strong, these longing men. These sages have thrown open at your glad carouse the stall of kine and horses. Thou art waxing great, our herds thou guardest. Soma and the moving world spread far and wide. Thou fittest them for living at your glad carouse, looking upon all beings. Thou art waxing great. On all sides, Soma, be to us a guardian ne'er to be deceived. King, drive away our foemen at your glad carouse. Let not the wicked rule us, thou art waxing great. Be watchful, Soma, passing wise, to give us store of vital strength. More skilled than man to guide us at your glad carouse. Save us from harm and sorrow, thou art waxing great. Chief slayer of our foemen, thou Indu art Indra's gracious friend. When warriors invoke him at your glad carouse, and fight to win them offspring, thou art waxing great. Victorious is this gladdening drink. To Indra dear it grows in strength. This at your glad carouse. Enhance the mighty hymn of the great sage Kakshivant. Thou art waxing great. This to the sage who offers gifts, brings power that comes from wealth and kine. This better than the seventh, hath at your glad carouse furthered the blind, the cripple. Thou art waxing great. And those who are disabled or hurt or whatever can still be favored. Hymn 10.26, Pushan, 9 verses. Forward upon their way proceed the ready teams. The lovely songs further them. Glorious Pushan with yoke chariot, and the mighty twain. The sacred hymns let this man hear, the singer win the god, to whom belong this majesty and might. He hath observed our eulogies, Pushan the strong, hath knowledge of sweet praises, even as Indu hath. He dews our grain with moisture, he bedews the pasture of our kine. We will bethink ourselves of thee, O Pushan, O thou goddess one, who brings fulfillment of our hymns, and stirs the singer and the sage, joint sharer of each sacrifice, the driver of the chariot steeds, the Risha who is good to man, the singer's friend and faithful guard, one who is Lord of Sutcha, caring for herself. weaving the raiment of the sheep and making raiment beautiful. The mighty Lord is spoil and wealth, strong friend of all prosperity. He with light movement shakes his beard, lovely and never to be deceived. O Pushan, may those goats of thine turn hitherward, thy chariot pole. Friend of all suppliants art thou, born in old time, and arm and sure. May the majestic Pushan speed our chariot with his power and might. May he increase our store of wealth, and listen to this call of ours. And, well, there are people who have goats that pull chariots, but the only pole that I'm thinking of in terms of goats is how a neighbor has a goat on a pole. Well, a couple goats on a pole. Hymn 1027, Indra, 24 verses. This singer is my firm determination. To aid the worshipper who pours the soma, I slay the man who brings no milk oblation. Unrighteous, powerful, the truth's perverter. Then will I, when I lead my friends to battle against the radiant persons of the godless, prepare for thee at home a vigorous bullock, and pour for thee the 15-fold strong juices. I know not him who slayeth and declareth that he hath slain the godless in the battle. Soon as they see the furious combat raging, men speak forth praises of my glorious horses, my vigorous horses, while yet my deeds of might were unrecorded. All past, for Monkavans, though I existed, the potent one who dwelt in peace I conquered, grasped by the foot, and slew him on the mountain. None hinder me in mine heroic exploits, no, not the mountains, when I will and purpose. Even the deaf will tremble at my roaring, and every day will dust be agitated, to see the Indralist oblation drinkers, mean offerers, overtaken by destruction. Then shall the fellies of my car pass over those who have blamed my joyous friend, and scorned him. Thou grewest of full vital vigor. An earlier saw, a later one shall see thee. 2 canopies as 'twere are round about him who reacheth to the limit of this region. The freed kine eat the barley of the pious. I saw them as they wandered with the herdsmen. The calling of the pious rang around them. What portion will these kine afford their owner? When we who cap the grass of men are gathered, I am with barley eaters in the cornland. There shall the captor yoke the yokeless bullock, and he who hath been yoked seek one to lose him. There wilt thou hold as true my spoken purpose, to bring together quadrupeds and bipeds. I will divide without a fight his riches who boreth here, against the bull with women, when a man's daughter hath been ever eyeless, who knowing will be wroth with her for blindness. Which of the two will loose on him his anger, the man who leads her home, or he who woos her? How many a maid is pleasing to the suitor, who fain would marry for her splendid riches? If the girl be both good and fair of feature, she finds herself a friend among the people. His feet have grasped, he eats the man who meets him. Around his head he sets the head for shelter. Sitting anear and right above, he smites us, and follows earth that lies spread out beneath him. High, leafless, shadowless, and swift as heaven, the mother stands, the youngling loosed is feeding. Loud hath she lowed, licking another's offspring. In what world hath the cow laid down her udder? 7 heroes from the nether part ascended, and from the upper part came 8 together. 9 from behind came, armed with winnowing baskets. 10 from the front passed o'er the rocky height ridges. One of the 10, the tawny, shared in common. They sent to execute their final purpose. The mother carries on her breast the infant of noble form, and soothes it, while it knows not. The heroes dressed with fire, the fatted weather, the dice were thrown by way of sport and gaming. 2 reached the plain amid the heavenly waters, hallowing and with means of purifying. Crying aloud, They ran in all directions. One half of them were cook, and not the other. To me hath Savitar this god declared it. He will perform, whose food is wood and butter. I saw a troop advancing from the distance moved, not by wheels, but their own godlike nature. The friendly one seeks human generations, destroying still new bands of evil beings. These my two bulls, even Pramaras, are harnessed. Drive them not far. Here let them often linger. The waters shall even aid him to his object, and the all-cleansing sun who is above us. This is the thunderbolt which often rolleth down from the lofty, misty realm of Surya. Beyond this realm there is another glory, so through old age they pass and feel no sorrow. Bound fast to every tree the cow is lowing, and thence the man-consuming birds are flying. Then all this wood, through pressing juice for Indra, strengthening the Risha, is affrighted. In the god's mansion stood the first created, and from their separation came the latter. Three warm the earth while holding stores of water, and two of these convey the murmuring moisture. This is thy life, and do thou mark and know it. As such, hide not thyself in time of battle. He manifests the light and hides the vapor. His foot is never free from robes that veil it. Now, people, whether they consider it separate personages or however they're going to think about trinities, it comes from something in oneself rather than something of deity. So I wonder, what are these 7 from the nether, 8 from the upper, 9 from behind, 10 from the front? What are these? And the thing about the person on the mountain, right? What's that thing about the person on the mountain? Well, some people think they're invincible, and they need to be taken down a notch by deity. So we can think of that in that sense, rather than attacking those at peace, or, like I recently saw on TV, this blood and soil supremacy-based country was attacking worshippers and all that in what's supposed to be the most sacred place, according to the religion of all 3 of the biggest groups there. I mean, the sacred place in the country, anyways. Hymn 10.28, Indra Vasukra, 12 verses. Now all my other friends are here assembled. My sire-in-law alone hath not come hither. So might he eat the grain and drink the soma, and satisfied return unto his dwelling. Loud belloweth the bull, whose horns are sharpened. Upon the height above earth's breadth he standeth. That man I guard and save in all his troubles, who fills my flanks when he hath shed the soma. Men with stone press out for thee, O Indra, strong gladdening soma. And thereof thou drinkest, bulls they dress for thee, and of these thou eatest when Mankavan with food art thou invited. Resolve for me, O singer, this is my riddle. The rivers send their swelling water backward, the fox steals up to approaching lion. The jackal drives the wild boar from the brushwood. How shall I solve this riddle? I, the simple, declare the thought of thee, the wise and mighty. Tell us, well knowing, as befits the season, whitherward is thy prosperous car advancing? Thus do they magnify me, the mighty. Higher than even high heaven is my car pole. I all at once demolish many thousands. My sire begot me with no foe to match me. Yea, and the gods have known me also. Indra, as mighty, fierce and strong in every exploit. Exulting with the bolt, I slaughtered Vritra, and for the offerer opened with might the cow stall. The deities approached. They carried axes, splitting the wood. They came with their attendants. They laid good timber in the fire receivers and burnt the grass up where they found it growing. The hare has swallowed up the opposing razor. I sundered with a clod the distant mountain. The great will I make subject to the little. The calf shall wax in strength, and cat the bullock. And there hath the strong-winged eagle left his talon. A snared lion leaves the trap that caught him. Even the wild steer in his thirst is captured. The leather strap still holds his foot entangled. So may the leather strap their foot entangle who fatten on the viands of the Brahmin. They all devour the bulls set free to wander, while they themselves destroy their bodies' vigor. They were well occupied with holy duties who sped in person with their lords to Soma, speaking like man, meet to us, wealth and booty. In heaven thou hast the name and fame of hero. We think of some things as the natural order that are for the time, but sometimes they can be turned back, or some change can be put to them. But I don't mean this thing where you sharpen the teeth or do other things to change the creation, right?